Okay, everybody, this is Jhud or Judd, however you want to say it, from the Scarmless server. I've had a couple of requests to do a video demonstrating the proper and only way you should use Outrage. Um, but credit also goes to DeagleBeagle, who I also have on this call, and Thomas Lamont, Captain Falcon, because well, Deagle came up with the proper method of using Outrage on his blog, and you can use that for information too. And Thomas actually utilized Outrage very well and actually ended up beating Zero Wing at round one of Nationals. And I'll also link that video as well and kind of put that in here. But for now, I'm just going to give a brief overview of how to use Outrage. It's all about eliminating the randomness. So, as everyone knows, Outrage hits for 2 to 3 turns, a random opponent, and then you are confused. Well, a lot of people thought that the proper way to use Outrage was just to switch out as soon as you're done so you don't hit yourself in confusion. That's not really the proper way to use it. I mean, I guess you can do that, but the proper way, as I said earlier, is to eliminate the randomness. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate how right now. And then I'm going to do a battle with Captain Falcon, and we're also going to demonstrate how. So basically, let's say that you have a Garchomp and an ally. Well, if you're going to want to use Outrage, you're going to want to make sure that your ally is faster than the Outrage user. So let's just say Garchomp Latios, and that's how we're going to be portraying this video right now, is Garchomp Latios. So let's say that the opponent has, let's say, Machamp, and let's say, I think we chose Hydreigon for this lesson. So Machamp, Hydreigon. So, obviously, you're going to want Garchomp's Outrage to hit this Hydreigon. Let's see. Now, when you use Outrage, it could hit either one of these Pokemon, but if there's only one Pokemon left in the battlefield, well, then it's obvious who you're going to hit. So, if I were to use Psychic with Latios on Machamp and kill it, then all that would be left is for Garchomp's Outrage to kill Hydreigon. So now we're going to go ahead and do a video and explain that. So I'm going to get a hypercam going. Okay, so you've all seen how it's done on paper. Now we're going to show you how it's done in practice. Basically, using Outrage the correct way is not just a one-step solution. There's around several, or I think we said 5 different factors in Outrage that you need to be able to compensate for. And the first one is being able to eliminate the opponent's ally, so that your Outrage hits who you want it to. And that's what we're going to demonstrate right now. So while Captain Falcon's going to kind of play dumb on purpose, this is just to show how to get Outrage to hit who you want by eliminating ally. So let's say I want this Outrage to hit this Hydreigon. Well, I need to make sure that Machamp is dead first. So I would Outrage and Psychic. Now Psychic's going to kill that Machamp, and my Outrage will hit that Hydreigon and one-shot it. Now I'm locked into Outrage, so I have to use it again next turn, and I can't switch out. The only way you could possibly switch out is if someone either hit you and you were holding eject button, or if they roared or whirlwind or something, but no one's really going to do that, and you shouldn't run eject button on Garchomp anyway because it's dumb. So so we have the back 2 right now, and once again I want Outrage to obviously hit this Haxorus and not the Toxicroak. So what I'm just going to do is Psychic the Toxicroak and Outrage the Haxorus. So that's just a video demonstrating how to get Outrage to hit who you want it to. But we're going to get a lot more in depth because there's a lot more to Outrage than just that. So to be continued. Okay, so you all saw how that video went. It was just a really basic demonstration, but there's a lot of problems with that. Like, let me put this out for you all to see. He had Hydreigon and Machamp, as you all know. Let's just say that Machamp used Protect that turn. Well, then my Psychic no longer can one-shot him because obviously he's protecting, and Outrage could hit Hydreigon, but it could also hit Machamp, and then therefore your whole turn has been wasted, and that Hydreigon, whose super affects both people on the team since you're using Latios and Garchomp, could easily kill one of your teammates. So that's why doing that in that situation wasn't the greatest demonstration. It was just simply to get the basics out of the way. So um, in a normal battle where, like, let's say it was at the regionals or something, you would want to Dragon Claw the Hydreigon and Psychic the Machamp, rather than using Outrage where it could possibly hit the Machamp who protected, and then you've had a wasted turn. So the next video is going to be a little bit more complicated, but it's going to be a little bit more effective in practice. Okay, so this is the second video in this Outrage series, and I'll let Deagle explain what this video is demonstrating.
Okay, this video is demonstrating how to counter one side effect of Outrage, and that is confusing yourself after 2 to 3 turns, quote, locked in. And locking in means, like, after you use Outrage, you can't switch or change moves. So you kind of just want to use Outrage as a last resort. You don't want to usually use it as your first move unless you really have to, and there's a good opportunity to use it. Um, for now, I'm just gonna Trick Room Protect to get the speed advantage and to protect myself from possibly Garchomp's Outrage or Dragon Claw. Because I know next turn I can just outspeed it with Trick Room and Dragon Claw it, and I don't even need to start outraging yet because Dragon Claw should one-shot the Garchomp. If not, then I could always give it Life Orb or whatever next battle.
Right.
Yeah. And
And
basically, Outrage, since it's sort of like a last resort, see it as sort of like Explosion. It doesn't really kill yourself, but there's a lot of side effects to it. And especially at hitting a random opponent is one of its main side effects. But the main side effect we're talking about today is like confusing yourself. And that would really only happen a few ways. If the opponents have bulky Pokemon that don't have very much offense, or they use Protectant a lot. And since I had just set up Trick Room, J-Hud's probably gonna Protect a lot to stall Trick Room because he knows he'll outspeed after Trick Room's over. But for right now, Garchomp's the main threat, so I'm just gonna um, Dragon Claw it, and I just have random moves on Dusclops. Um, but I'll just use Gravity because if he uses Earthquake the next turn, it'll hit his Zapdos. And um, okay, so that Hidden Power Ice with
it was flying.
Flying with Flight Gem did 108. So I know that um, so that 108 divided by 1.5 is the power it will be next turn, so it should only do about 72 damage, so I should survive the next turn. So I don't have to worry about that killing me. So I'll just Dragon Claw Garchomp, especially since it protected last turn, and I'll just Torment Zapdos. And I haven't outraged yet because I don't need to. If Zapdos was going to kill me with HP flying, then I would have outraged because, well, unless Dragon Claw killed. If Dragon Claw would had enough power to kill Garchomp, then it would be better to Dragon Claw anyways, just because it hits the right target. But notice how I didn't use Outrage the very first turn, and that's to ensure that I don't have the side effect of Outrage confusing me because it'll take 2 to 3 turns for that to happen, and it's better to use that like after a turn or two goes by so that you don't like confuse yourself and hurt yourself possibly and not be able to attack.
Right. And what we're kind of demonstrating here too is that just because you have Outrage on a Pokemon, its sole purpose is not to just get in an Outrage. Um, Yeah, you're gonna be doing it using Outrage for different reasons. Like before you're about to die, you can use it, and then you're gonna be dying soon, so you're not gonna have to worry about hitting yourself in confusion. That's another good thing about it.
Hmm. And if I had an attacking move with Dusclops, I want to be Dragon Climb Garchomp. Since my Dusclops is faster in Trick Room, I would normally just attack Garchomp and then Outrage from Dradagon would just hit Zapdos, and that would be the only Pokemon left, so I would obviously hit Zapdos. However, they could protect twice in a row, but chances are they're not going to. And if they try, there's only a 50% chance that's going to work.
And something else I'd like to point out too is I for the viewers they can see I have roar on this Zapdos, and that's just to stop Trick Room. Normally I would have roared out the Dusclops, but I didn't just because we're demonstrating something. Um, and also a lot of people ask what's the difference between detect and protect. Well, here's the difference. As you can see, Dusclops in turn 4 just using prison. Let's say I have protect on Garchomp, which I do. Well, now I can't use that anymore if Dusclops has protect. So now I can't use protect. But Zapdos, you could give him detect instead of protect, and then you could just use detect because that move is no longer in prison, so you can still stall out Trick Room. That's why detect is better if it's an option.
And
Yeah,
especially because you never use more than 8 PP. So there's like no counter argument for using protect over detect because it counters in prison and you never use more than 8 PP.
right. And another good thing about 8 PP is that's the same PP as Sucker Punch, and there's ways to counter Sucker Punch by strictly using Protect as well. Even if Protect fails, you're not using a physically damaging attack, therefore a Sucker Punch won't even hit you. So you can just Protect or Detect 8 times, and then you're not in a threat. Sucker Punch. Okay, but this battle is kind of pointless now. We were just using it to show um, basically another aspect of outrage, how to avoid hurting yourself in confusion, and that's just to use it. Um, that's to use it at opportune times, and not to use it not to just spam outrage. So we'll kind of end this video here and go on to the
Yeah,
next thing.
except I just wanted to add one thing. There are a lot of moves like Outreach, like Thrash or Pedal Dance, and those work the same exact way. They're just a different move typing. So the rules for Outreach also apply for those moves as well.
Right, same exact rules, and yeah. So we'll end this video here and go on to the next clause of outrage. Okay, so in that last video that you saw, we didn't actually get the chance to use Outrage, and that's just actually showing another part of it. You're not just supposed to spam it all the time. Sometimes you only use it as the last resort or when that's literally your best move. And as we just showed there, it wasn't always the best move. So sometimes the right way to use Outrage is to not use Outrage. That kind of sounds silly, but that's the way it is. You have to be smart when you use it. You can't just use it at any given time. You need to really make sure that when you're using it, it's your best option. And when you do use it, it'll do a lot of damage, but just you can't be trigger happy with it. So in this next video, we're going to explain the last few clauses of how to use outrage correctly. Okay, so this will be the third and final video demonstrating outrage, its proper usage, and the flaws of it. So DeagleBeagle is going to narrate this one again using some of the tips from his blog, and we'll kind of show how this is supposed to go. Okay.
So I picked Garchomp Zapdos, and that's a pretty decent lead. I won a regional in '09, and with that lead, I'm just going to demonstrate how side effects of outrage might really screw you if you like use them wrong. And one of the last three side effects of outrage would be locking yourself in. So basically, you can't switch if you use outrage and you hit a Pokemon that doesn't use protect or detect, and that'll happen a lot once you use outrage. I mean, a lot of Pokemon use Protect, but there's a pretty good chance that you're gonna get um, locked in, so to speak. And then um, the other side effect would be that you have to keep using the same move once you're locked into Outrage. You can't just switch moves, and you can't even switch out. So um, those are two big flaws of Outrage, and Outrage is also often overkill. I know it doesn't one-hit kill many Pokemon anymore. Pokemon are bulkier now, but you can damage them a little bit, and
A lot
let's
of
say,
it.
yeah, you can damage them even a lot. And if they have, say, 5% left, why would you want to outrage when you could just Dragon Claw instead and not have to worry about all those side effects or it hitting the Pokemon you don't want to hit?
Right. Well,
And never mind. Basically, right now, I shouldn't start outraging because I saw Latios um, on his team. And I don't know if he's using it in the back for sure, but I know if I start outraging right now, um, then if I kill something with outrage, then Latios will just revenge kill me. So basically, since I can't outrage, I might as well just earthquake right now and tailwind. And I don't even want to outrage here because I don't need it to one shot Latios. I can just Dragon Claw instead.
right, and Outrage might also hit Zapdos.
Right.
So once again, the key to use one of the keys to using Outrage is to not be trigger happy.
Yeah. So right now I'm just gonna Dragon Claw instead of Outrage for all those reasons, and that way like I don't get locked into Outrage for no reason when I could just Dragon Claw kill it. Because it's basically overkill if I use Outrage on a Latios if Dragon Claw can kill it. And some Garchomps are pretty bulky, so um, I might Outrage here, but since my Zapdos is slower, it's going to be kind of a tough decision. Since I have HP Ice on Zapdos, I might just HP Ice it and just Dragon Claw Zapdos. If I start outraging now, I might hit Zapdos when I could have just killed it with my Zapdos.
Right. Now let's say that Garchomp was slower than Zapdos. Then you
Yeah.
could Thunderbolt or HP Ice the Zapdos and then let Outrage hit the Garchomp.
Yeah, that's what I would do instead, but unfortunately my Zapdos is slower than Garchomp, and I might eventually fix that so that I can use Outrage properly if I need to.
Right, and that's a key to using it also, is just in your team building. If you plan on using Outrage, then and you plan on using Garchomp Zapdos, normally Garchomp is just a little bit faster. He's 2 base points faster than Zapdos. So if you wanted to use Outrage and you're going to use Tailwind, you don't really need to max speed Garchomp. You can make him just a point slower, one speed stat slower than Zapdos will do, if you need to do
Mhm.
that.
So I'm just gonna Dragon Claw Zapdos, and just HP Ice Garchomp. I outspeed both of them. I'll get usually at least one kill, because I'll Dragon Claw finish off the Zapdos and then HP Ice his Garchomp if he attacks him. And see, it did 99% health. Amazing. Oh, it has Focus Sash. So normally would one shot that thing, but it has Focus Sash.
Right.
So I actually did a really good move. And see, I didn't outrage earlier, so now I can earthquake that heat ram um, because I'm not locked into outrage. So I can just do that to basically win the game right here.
Exactly. And let's say that he did use Outrage. Right now, I could basically just protect with Garchomp and Heat Wave because Zapdos could not kill a Thunderbolt from Zapdos along with the Garchomp Outrage would not kill Heat Train due to the fact that I resist the Outrage. And then Tailwind would peter off. I'd have a fast Garchomp and a Scarfed Heat Train, and I'd probably win the match. So due to the fact that he wasn't trigger happy with Outrage and didn't use it, he therefore used Outrage properly by not using it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, Outrage is better when you have lower HP because then you can kill something with one hit that you would normally have to kill with two. It's better to just finish off something with low HP and then outrage the one that's still surviving. Because then it's just better because you like save an attack and it just makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, that's pretty much going to wrap up this outrage demonstration. So, I'm now going to add a link of Captain Falcon using it in real life at a nationals last year in VGC 2011. So we'll get back to you with that. Okay, so here we have outrage used in real life, um, in actual practice in a battle in nationals versus Zero Wing when Captain Falcon's using it in the Swiss rounds. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to the part of the battle where Captain Falcon actually begins to use it. So right now, as you can see, that Terrakion has just a little bit of HP left, and this Scrafty is about at full health. So we're going to see how he plays this out. Okay, now that Terrakion, the only reason Zero Wing used Quick Attack is because he knew he was going to die. Um, Therefore, Captain Falcon was able to Aqua Jet it, letting Haxorus get a full powered outrage against this Scrafty. And that's going to do a pretty decent amount of damage. Most likely kill it. Well, it crit, but that Scrafty, since it was male and its Haxorus is also male, it has the rivalry. Therefore, it would have killed regardless of crit. So that's basically how you use Outrage correctly. Now he has one Pokemon left, so Outrage is going to hit it full force and knock it out because of rivalry again. And that is how you use Outrage correctly in real practice. So Captain Falcon did a great job using that. And yeah, that pretty much wraps that up. Okay, so excuse me. You basically saw how to use Outrage, and as you can see, one of the main points in that video is one of the best ways of using it is to sometimes not use it. You have to not be too trigger happy. You have to use it when you're in dire straits or when you absolutely have no better option. Or sometimes Outrage is the best option just because it can do a lot of damage and you can eliminate the randomness of who it's hitting, which brings us to the next key point of using it, eliminating the randomness. Um, One of the major flaws of Outrage is that you don't know who it's going to hit. Well, if you can get rid of that factor, then Outrage becomes a very useful weapon on any team. Um, and the third clause of using Outrage is strictly there's a side effect of confusion and being locked into it. Well, if you can actually play around that, like let's say you're going to be using it on Trick Room, well, you can use Outrage sometimes, and then a lot of people will be Protect Stalling. So let's just say that you hit a Protect Staller. Well, you're no longer locked into Outrage anymore. You're free to use another move or do whatever you want. Um, Also, one of the factors of using Outrage is that you can be confused. Well, a way to counter that is using it right before you die. Therefore, you won't even live long enough to be confused because Outrage will hit 2 or 3 times before you're even confused. So that's another way to kind of get away from the side effects, bad side effects using Outrage. And all the other moves like Petal Dance, Thrash, those kind of things, they follow the same basic principles. Eliminate randomness, watch out for watch out for the bad side effects, and don't be trigger happy. Simple as that. Don't be trigger happy. Um, Use it wisely. Use it very wisely. And that's about all I have right now. I've had a few people that requested this Outrage video. So if you guys have any more requests, let me know. Comment on this video. Tell us how much we sucked at making it, or tell us if we did a good job. All right, well, um, talk to you later, Pokemon community.